Hello everyone, Maurice and welcome to Tanks Invest. We're talking about investing, finance, and professional development. For today's video, editors only. The investment topic today will be NIO, ticker NIO. So it's been a while since I last covered equity, and with respect to NIO, as of this week, it's been up about 12% so far. And for this month specifically, it's up about 25% approximately so far. With respect to the sell-off that we've had ever since May 13, that we were down all the way to the bottom of the $30.71 level, we're pumped up all the way to the $50.28 level right now, up about 1.78% today, and yesterday it was up about 10%. With respect to the catalyst that we got from the media affectation, on NIO, it has scheduled to hold the NIO Power Day event that's expected to debut on July 9th, which, with this anticipatory momentum catalyst will provide a glimpse of the products and technology related to NIO's power units and the unveil plans related to energy replenishment going forward. Also, with respect to the sector rotation and the positive FOMC meeting that we've had basically about 2 weeks ago, drives a lot of buying pressure across the EV sector, and specifically for the specific media affectations towards NIO, subsequently propelled the stock to go up from here. Seems like we are breaking through multiple resistance levels so far. I have identified about 3 so far. So I'm going to go through a technical analysis again to take a look at the market dynamics as a whole. Is this a proper time for us to buy right now to dollar cost average? Or going to see more of a normalization or neutralization going forward that we probably foresee more opportune time for it to dollar cost average going forward? So stay tuned, stick around, let's make some money. Moving on to the technical analysis for NIO ticker NIO, just to recap on all the media affectation that we've had so far ever since that run-up we had in Q3, Q4 last year, all the way to the $67 mark, right? And ever since with respect to sector rotations and Q1, Q2 affectations around just the negative CPI report that we've been getting with respect to inflationary outlooks from the Federal Reserve, we've been hearing from Jerome Powell on basically like a weekly basis, and also with respect to the chip shortage that we've been experiencing across the whole EV sector, and a lot of the sector rotations from basically growth stocks all the way to the recovery stocks, that with respect to the duration that we've had basically for the last 6 months so far, I would say more like 5 months so far, that we hit the bottom all the way down to the $30.71 to rate from May 13, 2021. And ever since then, because of a lot of positive media affectation, with the confirmatory media affectation coming directly from the Federal Reserve on the FOMC meeting, with the depictions around the inflationary outlook going forward from Jerome Powell that, the inflation or the quantitative tightening is not going to happen until sometimes around like early 2023 or late 2022, which we still have basically 1 year ahead right now, right? With the prioritization that we want to focus on the job growth, we want to focus on the corporate outlook going forward, we want to focus on propelling the economy to propel thrive going forward in the near future and not hinder by tightening the quantitative easing or the circulations of monetary value that we have in the market right now, right? So obviously, with respect to that positive catalyst, we have propelled up all the way from here, the $30.71 level, propelled up to the $39 level, which is the first level of psychological resistance, breaking through that $40 mark. And then up and away, we went all the way to the $43 mark, which was a relatively good, planes of resistance level that we've identified so far as a form of ceiling that we broke through, and historically we were percolating around those areas that we were just having a tough time to crack through those ceilings. But with respect to the positive outlook on the economy and the sector rotations among hedge funds, it's going to propel the stock to go up from there, right? And ever since that $43, we hit all the way above to the $46-$30 level, which is the next, I would say, relatively pseudo-substantive level of consolidation. But if you look at it, it's relatively weak, right? We had that one-time candle right here, and then we had another one right here, basically back in the day. I misspoke. It was a relatively substantive level, and that's why we were able to hover around ever since we broke through that $46-$28 level, right? And with respect to the media affectation with the recent news that we heard from the NIO July 9th, media affectation on the events that they're going to be debuting coming up, on revealing their proposition as a business going forward, it subsequently propelled up all the way, as of yesterday, up about 10%, which you see is the mega green candle. And this is mainly driven by a lot of corporate investors, but also at the same time retail investors. And I would say the mix, based on the candle we see here, is relatively more mixed bag. But I would say like more 60% public investors, 40% corporate investor. And we could see as of today, we're still up and away. We're up about 1.56% right now. Okay. So what I see the stock going forward from here, right? I think we are currently fluffing in the air right now. We're kind of floating in the air right now. We have broken that psychological resistance level, that $50 mark, because of yesterday's news. And today, it just seems like there is a lot more positive media affectation that's propelling it up, mainly driven by a lot of the influence from media publication, which, sometimes you have to kind of question the incentive around those. It seems like the sector rotation and the rebound for EV stocks is definitely confirmed at the moment. I mean, it's been confirmed ever since the $30.71 mark. If you knew about the technical analysis, you could see that the cross section has derated from there. And then with respect to the cross section that we'd had again, that's double confirmed it, that with respect to that cross, you subsequently, as you cross upward, the MACD line is basically the yellow line, and the blue line is basically the signal line, right? As you cross up, you will see a lot more bullish momentum pushing the stock up, and that's exactly what happened. This is why you see that push up, right? And with respect to RSI right now, you can see we are kind of overbought at the moment, which makes sense because of this mega green candle that we see in front of us right now. So how do we play this going forward, right? I think, with respect to the media affectation that we've had so far, I think the lemon has already been squeezed so many times that people might want to take some profits slowly, right? I think the $50 mark is a strong one, but I think with respect to the substantiveness, I think it's a lot more strong, somewhere around like the $46 mark, right? Because this line right here, this is basically forming a gap right now, right? It's kind of contradicting with basically the level that we've had here. This line is basically a gap, but we're forming a green candle right now. So we need to retest, to reconsolidate, to build more of a substantive foundation before we pump up again, right? Because this wasn't really like a foundational type of substance consolidation momentum, right? This was just basically a sell-off because of the sector rotation from hedge fund that did it gradually, and also with respect to the EV chip shortage that also scared a lot of people off, right? And you see the oscillations mainly driven by the the CPI report that we've been getting on the monthly basis, which kind of form of more of an oscillation type of momentum, right? And then that one-time black swan events with that really negative CPI report that we got at that time frame, that we subsequently rebound from there as we got more positive outlook on the FOMC meeting, that we subsequently rebound, right? So I think going forward, if I was you, I would probably wait off a little bit, wait for the RSI to cool down a little bit, despite the MACD cross upward. But I think the cross is relatively funky right now. You could see that we crossed once and we crossed once more again. That I think we should be correcting downward a little bit more, because we are driving a relatively large outlier into the market dynamics right now, that I feel more comfortable if we were to buy it somewhere around like the $47 mark, which be the first level that would dollar cost average if you're building your position for the first time. And the level that I would ideally buy at, knowing the fact that I do hold about 7,500 shares of NIO right now, at the $46 mark, that's where I feel comfortable, right? But if we break through because of some negative events or negative news that we hear going forward, we might go back to the $43 mark, right? I think with respect to the NIO events that's going to be happening on July 9th, I think this is more of like a buy the rumor, sell the news type of affectation, that we might be seeing more buying pressure in the next couple of days ahead of the events, right? Because of this green candle we've had already. But I do see some normalization first, and then further propel up as we approach the date on July 9th a little bit closer. We are still kind of like a week and a half out, so it's still long duration, right? I think the momentum will start to percolate a little bit more earlier next week, right? So I think we might want to hold off right now. We don't want to be rushing it or FOMOing right now, because I think the opportune time is still up for grab coming. So the first level again, right? 47.82 to be more exact if you want to be very precise. Next level will be 46.29 or 28, right? And if we break that, and I think after the events, we might come back all the way down to the 43.05, right? And then we should be oscillating from there and then rebound all the way up. And sometimes by end of this year, we should be reaching all-time high to close to about like the $85 to $90 per share. Which is my price target going forward. Just to recap on all the numbers that we have talked about in the technical analysis, I think the $47.50 would be a more optimal level for you to dollar cost average rather than chasing the pump right now. I think the current level at the $50 mark is definitely a good psychological resistance level, right? However, with respect to the RSI and the MACD right now, the MACD is relatively crossing kind of funky right now. On top of the fact that the RSI is highly overbought right now, that the propensity for us to, to generate a high return, just like a risk, profit perspective, I think there's a high likelihood that we should be normalizing by selling downward to the first substantive resistance level, the 47.50 first, before we bounce back up to the 50 to retest, right? Because that will provide a little bit more substance before we, further scale up to go to the all-time high that we expect by the end of this year, right? And respect to $46 mark, I do foresee, that's a secondary resistance level. But I think it'll be more likely to test the 47.50 first. The 46 might be a bit of a stretch, but we have to see like how the media affectation is going to be playing out in the near term, right? We might get there after the events after July 9th, like kind of, buy the rumor, sell the news type of affectation to just like retest the 46 before we go back above 50 again and go leap all the way to 52 and then 55 from there, right? Do we see 43 coming? I think in the near term, in the next 1.5 weeks, I think there's a very low likelihood that we will get there. Contingent on no black swan news about like EV chip shortage or NIO's management team have some sort of like turnover or turmoil or something like that. That's something we do not know at the moment, right? But based on the media affectation and the sector rotation right now, I think the likelihood would be relatively low. And with respect to the price target, $85, 78 to 79% of an upside, 1.8 times your money if you buy the $47.50 level. So that's it for their respect my technical analysis on NIO ticker NIO. Hopefully this gives you more clarity around like the dynamics of the play right now. And hopefully this is helpful and give you more clarity into how you execute your price level going forward as your dollar cost average. And please, feel free to ask me any questions if you have any questions in the meantime. And please stay tuned and watch our things coming up. Take care. Bye.